this video, I'm going to show you two different comments from the same video. And I want to talk about, without looking at what their, how many people like or dislike, whatever, how many likes are under each comment. I want to talk about the content of these comments, because it's not just about the comments. It is about the mindsets of people when they are confronted with hard information, when they are confronted with things that make them feel uncomfortable. There's more than two ways to go about dealing with that or creating action from that, but there are two popular ways to react to hard information that makes people uncomfortable, especially as it relates to women's rights, to marginalized people's rights, when it comes to the rights of being child-free, or for pregnant people, because arguably, when one of those two groups gets the rights that they deserve, both groups benefit, right? The right to choose helps pregnant people, and it helps people that want to be child-free, things like that, right? So before we dive into that, hi, my name is Shayna. For those of you who are new here, I'm a journalist. I talk a lot about child-free living and decentering men, and within the context of what is happening legally in the United States. There's a lot of, I'm connecting a lot of dots on this page. So if any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested in starting your freelance writing journey, there's a way to do that. I'm launching a course. That way you could write for money. Your thoughts are worth a lot of money. So that's something that you're interested in. There is a link to my Substack that has all of the information on that below and in my bio. But now let's dive in. Before I read these comments, I want to give a little context to the video that both of these comments are under. So it is a video that I made talking about a law that has been introduced that will arguably probably get put into law by the Oklahoma, I think, Oklahoma, Idaho, I don't know. It's one of those two, by their Senate, by their legislative branch, talking about stripping away the right to divorce, to a speedy, easy divorce. It's going to trap a lot of people in very, very dangerous marriages, and women will die. Women will die. People that are married to men will not be able to free themselves from the confines of this. So that is what the video is talking about, along with other things, but that is the general consensus. So let's start with this one. I will post this right up here so you could read along with me. Problem is, a majority of people get married for the wrong reasons and too young. How about not rushing into marriage? Simple, you should be getting counseling prior to marriage these days anyway. If you can't be adult about a marriage, don't marry. This video encourages people to leave marriages. The woman in the video isn't and probably never has been married. Shake my head. People get advice from people who are certified to help you, not a YouTuber. Now, before we get into the next comment, I really want to talk about this one a little bit more. One, I think that a lot of people, especially folks that are new or just I'm just coming across their For You page, don't realize that I am a journalist. I write for Business Insider, I write for Essence Magazine, I write for TripAdvisor, I write for BBC, I write for a lot of people. I've also been nominated for an international award because of the kind of journalism that I do. I also have been featured on the Young Turks, which, guys, like, anybody from on here, just tag me. Like, I really appreciate you highlighting the work that I've been doing, but like, tagging me would be nice. Also, just gently putting it out there, tagging me is great, featuring me would be better. But anyway, we're moving on. Now, outside of this commenter talking about how because I'm a person that exists on YouTube, that my words have no value, there is also an essence of pull yourself up by your bootstraps that is ingrained into this kind of rhetoric. Let me explain. So in a similar way to in the reaction to people not having the resources that they need in an inherently racist, sexist, capitalist society, people have told told marginalized people across the board throughout history in the United States. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you've got this, right? It's not about the systemic issues. It's not about the lack of information. It's not about all of the things that are actively fighting against you being able to get the resources and information you need. All you need to do is work harder. There's an element of that I think is present in here, in that, oh, well, just like don't rush into marriage. Oh, just don't, if you can't be a grown-up about it, then just don't get married. I think that is a nice idea if there was not so much consistent misinformation, hiding of information as it relates to what marriage is and the institution of it. Because yeah, it's cute to be like, oh, it's a thing between like you two and God. It's an institution. It is a legal contract that people do not have enough information about to be able to make a fully informed decision of if it is something that they would like to participate in, unfortunately, until they've already signed said contract. Now, once upon a time, that was, and even now, for as long as we have it, no-fault divorce is within our grasp. At the federal level. So people can say, oh, either this isn't the thing that I signed up for, I have grown, things have changed, this person has done X, Y, and Z, this contract is no longer working for me or us or whatever, I want out. And that is fine, right? But there is this idea of permanentness that I think, as it relates to marriage, that I think is inherently based on Christian supremacy. Like there is this idea of, in the same way where it's like, okay, you've entered into a covenant with God, which should last eternity. A lot of people take that and superimpose that onto marriage because it's in Christian text, and there once upon a time was the idea of the separation of church and state, which we know is a lie, right? So with this, yeah, it's nice to be like, oh, if you can't be an adult about marriage, then don't get married. Counseling, it's simple. You should be getting counseling prior to marriage nowadays. Anyway, sure. But I also think that it's okay to say I made a mistake. It's okay to say, you know what, I gotta put me first, Lucius. I think it's okay to be like, you know what, we loved each other and now we don't. And that's okay. I don't think that it needs to get to the point of having to prove that this person has been beating you for 5 years. I don't think that it should have to get to that point to say, okay, I think we should call it quits. I think that's fine. And also, here's another point on this. The woman in the video isn't and probably never has been married. Sure, I have not been married. I have made that very clear on this platform. Do I know people that were married that have had to flee for their lives from their fiancés, from their husbands? Yes. Have I personally helped those people flee from those relationships for the sake of them not being in those relationships? Yes. Have I seen people that have gotten married and then shortly after getting married, whether that be a couple of months all the way, nope. I can't even say over a year. It's always been either a couple of months to as shortly as like within the week that they have gotten engaged. Be like, I don't know who this person is. I feel like I've been lied to, and now I'm scared and I'm trapped and I don't know what to do because I don't feel safe anymore. Yes, many times. The women in those relationships, their partners varied across socioeconomic backgrounds and races. Some of them were like in the military. Others were scientists. Others were working blue collar jobs or in the service industry. Like, the idea of just go to counseling, that's a wonderful idea. But you also, especially for women, because the man that you decide to partner with, I'm just gonna put this little piece of information right up here. Men lie. Men lie about who they are often. And a lot of women don't get to see tomorrow because of the lies that they have been told, that they unfortunately have to live in. But now, here is another reaction to the same video. Let's read this together. In Oklahoma, the age of consent is 16, and it is difficult to prosecute statutory R. Not only that, marriage with parental consent is allowed, and they are in the top 5 states with the highest child marriages per capita. Let's not pretend that every woman or child has a choice. Many girls clearly don't do it, and now more who are forced into marriages won't be able to escape. ETA: : This affects white girls the least. Texas has the highest percentage of child marriages. If you think these laws won't reach you or your community, you're wrong. Finally, I don't care that you're not interested, but you're exposing yourselves as ignorant. If you're not interested, move along. Not the video or comment for you. Bars. Now, I don't need to go into any more detail. Blue Star Burns, you summed this up perfectly. Thank you so much for this comment. And do you see the difference in reactions? One commenter is saying, boo-hoo, wah, don't get divorced, stay in marriages. Don't listen to this lady because she's on YouTube. Somebody else is also adding to the facts of what I was talking about in said video. One person is mad at the reality that women should be allowed to divorce if they want a divorce, and somebody else is saying, hey, this is a human rights issue. It's fascinating to me because this dichotomy exists so heavily in most of the videos that I make that talk about the law, when I break down the laws of what's happening in the United States, and bringing this to an even more macro community, because yes, this happens in my comment section. Yeah, a lot of people don't see all this madness, but I do, as I'm looking at it through the back end, right, of YouTube. No other back ends over here. Anyway, but this kind of dichotomy, this kind of A-B reaction to a lot of things, this shows up in a lot of people's day-to-day lives as they are fighting for their rights. This happens to a lot of people in the workplace. This happens to a lot of people at holiday dinners. Where people are like, oh, well, hypothetically speaking, do better. Choose better men. And then at the other side, there's the people that are just like, hey, rights, statistics, facts. These two people, this is unfortunately, I would love for there to be able to be more mixture and people being able to learn that facts are important. But it is becoming more and more of an oil and water situation. And I guess I'm bringing this up because I think it's okay to not be arguing with the people that don't want to understand the facts. There are a lot of people that consider themselves to be good guys, that are just like, well, you made a commitment and you have to stay in this commitment. Oh, women and right. There's a lot of people that feel that way and they consider themselves to be upstanding individuals. I'm not saying anything about this original content, or I don't know this Muga, nor do I plan to, but I think that we need to be okay with just distancing. Let them, and unfortunately, yes, they are dangerous. And once again, not talking about this content creator necessarily, but the good guys, the ones that will not fight for your rights with you, the ones that are like, oh, well, if it benefits me, then I'm okay with whatever happens. In the words of Meg the Stallion, you don't want to be saved, don't save them. What you gonna do? Human evolution will take care of them. And that's about as best as we can do as we are trying to survive the next couple of years in this country. So I think that's all for now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please type them in the comment section and I will talk to you later. Be safe out there, guys.